So in this, so in, so we are going to discuss about how do we create TCP program. So which means that how do we create a TCP server and how do we create a TCP client. Okay, so I'm going with the same procedure to create a server side and a client side program. Okay, so the first one is create a Java application called TCP. So for that, I'm going to create a new Java project and I named it as TCP and finish it. And the next procedure, it's called as create a class called TCP server. Create a class called TCP server. So look at this. Now we don't have any classes and classes. Simply, I'm going to create a new class called TCP server. Okay, and make it public static void main. Public static void main. Create. Please choose this. Okay, finish. Now, what it create a server socket object and call the server.accept for the client request. So now what I'm going to do is simply we have to create a server socket. Server, because as I said earlier, the server socket, it's a class which is specifically for the server program. Okay, I have to create an object for this server socket. Look at this. Comes under it is available in java.net packages. Server socket. Server socket equal to new server socket. Okay, so here in between this, so we have to provide some arguments. So that what is the argument is, it's a port number. Okay, I already told you the TCP program and UDP program, it's all working with the help of the port number. Okay, so now I'm going to give some port number called 1099. Okay, so surround with try catch block. Okay, because we are doing some network related code, so it may cause some errors. So that is why it should be surrounded with try catch block. So we are just handling some exceptions. Okay, the next one is we have to create a server socket and accept the connections. So what I'm going to do is, and actually I'm using some while loop, because the server should always listen. So that is why I'm going for the while loop. And now I'm going to create a socket equal to server socket dot accept. Okay, so accept, it's a method. So whenever the connection is established, so it has to accept the connection. Okay, and simply what I'm doing is I want to I'm just printing this information. Print writer. It is available in the java.io packages, and so look at this. I already told you the TCP program which always use IO streams for sending and receiving the messages. Okay, so what I'm doing is simply I just accepted the connection, and after accepting I'm just transferring the date. Okay, whatever the system date is available, I'm just picking the date of the current system, and that is transferred to the client. Okay, So simply I just created one print writer output stream, and that is transferred to the client with the help of the println statement. Okay, so this is a date package from the java.util. So look at this, all the packages are imported, and simply I'm saying that server is started. That's all about the server program. We are ready with the server. Okay, we are ready with the server. So you can look at this program procedure also. Create a server socket. We done it. Okay, and call the server.accept for client request. We finished it. Okay, and create an IO stream for communicating to the client. So for that I created a print writer object, and I used IO output stream for transmitting the data from server to client. Okay, and perform the communication with client, and finally close the socket. So for closing a socket, you can close in the outside. Okay, server socket dot close. That's it. So once all is over, unreachable code, leave it, no problem. So here, okay, no problem, leave it. It will automatically close, and because it should be repeated again and again, and okay, let it okay, let it be, no problem. Okay, and the next one is client side. We have to create called a TCP client. We have to create a program class called TCP client. So look at this, inside the TCP project I'm creating one more class. Right click the default package, new class, and here I'm giving TCP client, and follow the naming standard. Look at this, the first letter is T and the next word of the first letter is capital. Okay, T is capital and C is capital, remaining all are small letters. It's a camel case letter, right? Because I'm creating the class file. So now I just created I pointed static void main and finish it, and this is what, create a socket object and create a IO streams for communicating with the server and perform the IO communication. The same procedure with this. So what I'm going to do is simply I have to create a socket. Here there is no server socket, only socket. Socket equal to new socket, and you have to provide two arguments. One is IP address and another one is a port number. The IP address is what is so the local host, the IP address of the local host is 127.0.01. okay, because I'm not going to communicate with other system, I'm going to communicate with the same system, okay, because the server and client both are available in the same machine. So that is why I just pointed the local host. Okay, so 127.0.1 is a local host number which points the same system, okay, which points the same system. And the second argument, it's a port number, which is the same number you have to use mentioned in the server. Okay, here I mentioned 1099, and so that here also you have to mention 1099. Okay, so add with try catch block. And here I'm going to use this for the communication. Buffered reader I'm using. Whenever you are working with the network related code, so try to go with the buffered reader, because if there is a huge amount of information, it is not possible to transport in a second. Okay, so that is why all the information will be splitted into different packets. So that is so for that reason only we have to use a buffered reader. Okay, and here Let me create this one again. IO Streams Reader. Here I changed client. Okay, instead of socket, I changed to client, and here for buffered reader java.io, and that's it. So what I'm doing is simply I accept the connection. I created a connection. I'm trying to establish the connection between the server and client. The 127.0.01, it's pointing the same system, and 101.99 it's a port number. And what I'm doing is, after the connection establishment, immediately the server will send the date. Okay, so for receiving the date, I'm going for the input stream. So I'm fetching the values by using the client.getInputStream. So it will fetch the value, and after fetching the value, simply I'm printing the value with the help of the input.readLine. Okay, so that's it. That's all about the TCP program. Simply you can system.exit 0. Okay. So once all is over, I'm just coming out of program. Okay, so that's all. So let us run this program. Right click for running your program. First go to the TCP server and right click, run as Java application. So now look at this, server is started. Okay, and move on to the TCP client and right click, run as Java application, and you can see this output. Look at this, on the left corner there are two things. This is for client. You can check here the date from server. This is Friday, December 21, and the time is also printed. So it's a TCP connection. It's all about the connection oriented. It's all about the connection oriented.
Thanks for watching. This is the first episode. If you liked it, maybe subscribe. And if you didn't like it, why did you watch to the end?